Brilliance of Ballard.
Brilliance of Ballard.
Yeah, my students have to memorize it pretty early on.
Although it's just like over
Hey,
this way a bit too far. We're getting part of
That's
your face
okay.
cut off.
Can you
I'm-
see us?
That's
Whose,
okay.
whose face is
Yeah.
cut off?
Hey,
Alicia's.
can you mute your
We're good now.
mic
Can you see me?
inputs, all of them?
What's that?
Mute all the mic inputs.
You're muted.
Okay, testing.
Hold on.
No.
Now they're muted.
Hello? I'm still getting, it's either coming through there or the microphone of the computer.
Shut off the microphone of the computer.
Well, let's, hang on.
Come on, guys, watching. It's our first time. Give us a break.
I don't think anybody's complaining. Are you sure all of them are muted? Now I'm coming in from the front end of that. Is that where we hooked up?
I
You remember?
believe so.
I do too. But
Basically said she can hear us now.
yeah, but she's not. She's hearing through the computer. Hang on.
Huh?
Yeah, but she's hearing it from here, not through your mics.
Well, as long as she can hear us, it doesn't really matter. Does it?
She's probably hearing him and not.
Oh, she won't be
us.
able to hear the music.
Right. You won't be able to hear it. It's not going through the board.
Yeah, it plugs in from the front.
I'm trying to find.
Too serious now. Come on, have fun.
Oh, it's coming through. Okay.
It's interesting. Are you going to do one with us?
I don't know about all that.
She's your sister. There's no doubt about that. She's blamed.
She
She
is.
says what's on her mind. Brad, do I need to hit record on this to make it come on?
No.
Sure.
Yeah.
I'm going to record it anyways.
I'm not. I can't remember. I want to have some light there.
Yeah, it plugged in from the front. I remember that.
He can't get us connected where they can hear us, hear us, hear our minds.
You've got all the cables out. That must be the way it goes. I can't.
What's that?
Well,
Kate said, can you turn the camera back about 10 feet? Your head is taking up all the screen. My nephew. He is funny.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on here. Testing.
Who's got the comments coming in right now, you or him? Who's going to be reading these comments while we're going?
Well, you can read them.
Huh?
I give you that job.
I can't read them. I ain't got it in front of me.
I don't know why this isn't working. We either have it hooked or plugged into the wrong port, or
got my damn bifocals on. And see, I'm flying. I'm dealing with my Urkel. Yeah.
So if you hear tornadoes coming through.
Okay,
I'll
wait a
have
minute,
to
here we
stop
go.
the podcast, go chase it down real quick.
Oh, go chase it down.
Stop. I gotta chase the
Lisa says she can hear
tornado.
us, Brad.
She can hear us through the computer microphone.
Okay.
I gotta figure out why the mixing board's not connected. Mike.
Is there a tornado watch?
No, I don't think so.
Well, I have all the mics muted. Does that have something to do with it?
No, I want them muted so I know when it's working. Desktop audio.
Kim Goot said it was working.
Well, Kim Goot can't hear through the mixing board. She doesn't know. Shut up, Kim. Oh, wait a minute.
Right? Maybe take a road trip.
Now, did that work? Hello? No, it's off the chart now. So do you have it muted? All of them muted? Rich.
Rich.
Are all of them muted?
Rich. Rich. Hey. Rich.
There's something at him.
Rich. Rich. Hey, ghost pimp. Hey, ghost pimp. Hi. Hey, ghost pimp.
Huh? Answering text, people are freaking out.
Why are they freaking out for?
Well, they're ready to hear this and they can't hear the music.
He was asking you something about the mute over there.
Do you have everything muted? Is there anything playing or
The
anything muted?
music was.
Well,
Now
that
everything else is muted.
that can be a problem because now I don't know what I did or what I could do.
You what?
I want everything muted from this.
Everything is muted, buddy. Everything. Even the music.
I'm just wondering if it's this cable. Do we have another one of these?
The top of the computer. I doubt it.
We'll plug that back in just in case. It's not wanting to register.
It has before.
I know, I don't get it.
So I'm gonna bring up some YouTube videos.
You guys want a song and dance?
So they can still hear Brad. That's what everybody's saying.
Yeah, because it's coming on my computer. And I don't understand why this isn't working.
And she's laughing at you, couldn't do this.
Oh, it's okay.
We all are.
Did that work? Hello? No? Play the music. I want to see if it works.
It
don't know where this is. I think we got it. Ask him if they can get the music.
I just did to Macy. She's the most reliable person.
Yeehaw!
You know what you did differently?
Yeah. Did it work?
I don't know. She responded.
I don't know.
It's okay.
That most reliable person ain't
People
responding.
are just appreciative we're trying, you know? It's our first time. It can't be perfect.
I'll just sing for everybody.
Brad's recording you.
Yeehaw!
I can't tell. No, they're still hearing it through here, I think. Hang on.
Yeah, Messi hasn't responded.
She probably got tired of waiting.
Anytime you have to run and pull it up on my phone and.
Yeah, you both.
Yeah, and when you start hearing the music, let us know. Hey, do you have a pair of headphones that this will plug into?
These are the only headphones I have, buddy.
Does that unplug?
Mm.
Yes. Let me see them. This will tell me if it's coming out of the board. Oh, they're smaller. That won't work. Actually, it will work. Rich, I need a pair of headphones or something.
I can't help you, buddy. I don't have any. These are only 3 pair I have.
Can-
There's headphones in that case in there.
What
I
case?
got a pair in there.
Where?
In there and where I got the equipment. I got a pair in there.
Here?
Yeah.
We're only 15 minutes late. Everybody seems to be having fun just listening to this on the computer.
Yeah, it's stupid. The music playing?
Yep.
Okay, that's working. Maybe this cord's not good.
I don't know. I don't think I have another one, do I? Is there another one in there?
I don't know.
Worst comes to worst, we'll just have to go out and use it, Brad. We'll just have to get off.
Well, you want the microphones if you can because it's going to be hard for everybody to be heard.
They're saying they can hear us pretty well.
Well, worst comes to worst, we'll do that. But
Well, we don't want to wait too much longer. I'm afraid people will tune out. It's just got to be a button you're supposed to hit, I'm sure. Because we've had it working before.
well, there's something going on. What?
Kim, we can't hear you.
I got her. But
Oh,
we're
you
not
are, but
live.
there's several hundred people watching us right now. It's- they can hear us and everything.
I'm sorry, guys. It's been a year since we worked on this, and there's a glitch somewhere. Maybe it's on the YouTube side.
Hello? 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 Hello?
Hello, is this Rich Ballard?
Yeah.
Hey, I was trying to figure out the whole thing, and it's like, what the heck? I'm trying to figure out the whole podcast thing.
If you click on the link, it should take you to podcast. We're going to go live here in a second. We're just having a few technical difficulties.
Yeah, I've been clicking on the link, and it still says the live stream coming soon, and it's like, okay, wait a minute, how am I gonna do this? I'm actually just seeing you guys, and there's no link to just get to it.
Are you seeing us on camera?
Yeah, one lady with blonde hair.
Yeah, that's it. That's the live stream. We're just having problems with our audio, but you should be able to at least hear us on the computer. We're trying to get our Rode board hooked up, turned on the computer. We're having struggles with it, so these things happen. But at the end of the day, the worst scenario will probably just talk off the computer.
Okay, absolutely. Because like I said, I'm pretty much on the link page, and I'm really seeing you on the phone right now.
Okay.
And,
Yeah, you're at the right place. You're at the right place, man. We're trying to get it to work better, okay?
okay, I was just checking just in case, because I'm thinking, well, there's something messing up here.
Okay.
So,
Thanks a lot, man.
absolutely. I just wanted to be sure I'm on the right board here, just in case.
All right, goodbye.
But,
Desktop audio.
Is that Brad?
Should be.
I'll just keep playing the music until someone can hear it. Kim Goot says Brad's the glitch.
Thanks.
Kim Reed said they can hear us fine. So I think we should just go for it.
I don't get. It has to be something with this computer.
Thank you, Kim. Let's just do it, Brad.
I'll just keep working on it, and if it kicks in, it kicks in. But you won't be able to hear anything.
Music, because people can hear us off the computer. And Kim, everybody says they can hear us fine. Can everyone hear us fine, folks? We are really sorry. That's where we can put your earphones on.
All right.
Can you hear me?
I got you.
Okay, this is just for me, the recording, because the actual recording is something I'll post later, okay? All right. 1, 2. Hey guys, we're having a lot of fun here at the Whispers Estate. Sorry about all the technical problems. It's really all my fault. Brad Martin, my buddy, said to keep that computer plugged in so it updates and all that good stuff, but I've done none of that, and that falls on me. It's been a year since the last time I did a podcast. Someone's calling me here right now about the Whispers Estate, but I cannot help you folks. We can't answer your phone calls right now. Been about a year since I did my last podcast, which of course wasn't live. Didn't have the technology figured out now. We do have the technology figured out now, but we're still having some glitches, and once again, that is entirely my fault. My good buddy Brad Martin here is working really hard to try to fix it. But it kind of is what it is. Everyone's texting me. I got about 30 texts saying we can hear you fine, so we're just going to go ahead and leave out all the music and all that good stuff. People won't stop calling. There will be a call-in session here in about 20 minutes, so come on, folks, just hold on. Can't keep answering the phone. Once again, this is our very first live podcast. We're extremely excited about this. We will work out the glitches. It's just a matter of trial and error at this point, and I'm going to take the full blame for that. But we are live. Got several hundred people watching us right now. Alicia.
No.
So I don't want to make any excuses. It's been a year since I did a podcast. There were some personal issues. No, I didn't have a mental breakdown or anything like that. I had some health issues. And most of the last summer I walked around with one eye. It was really kind of embarrassing. But the bottom line is I feel a lot better now. And my good buddy Brad is all motivated. And we are going to get this going. We're going to do at least one of these a month. Maybe about one every 2 weeks. And the goal, like I said last year, is obviously to do these in a different part of the room, if you will, every time we do a podcast. And we decided on the parlor room here right off the bat for a couple reasons. One, I just didn't feel like moving all the stuff upstairs. Brad wanted to do it in the servants' quarters because that place has been off the hook. For any recent guest, Alicia, Sandra, and Kim Reed and I were just here last Sunday night, and we had things happen in that servants' quarters. I won't tell you what happened. Many of you won't believe it. You just have to come and experience yourself. But this is the very first live podcast from the Whispers Estate. We're extremely excited. Here in beautiful Mitchell, Indiana, just right straight down south from Bloomington 37. We encourage you to visit our website at www.whispersestate.com. If you've never visited the house, go to the website. All kinds of information on there. Click on reservations, and we'll take you to our Eventbrite page where you can schedule a visit. We deliberately try to keep our prices low because I personally spent thousands of dollars traveling all over the country. I try to keep these prices low, even with the Biden inflation. That's kind of, I think I paid $4.89 for gas today. Man, I can't even imagine doing that. But we're extremely excited for our first live broadcast here, mainly for a couple of reasons. One is I got Sandra Burr sitting here beside me. Most of you who visited the house know who Sandra is. Pretty hard not to know who Sandra is, particularly if you've been to the Whispers Estate. Sandra has about 12 years experience with the house. Without question, knows more about the house probably than anyone on planet Earth. And if you got something wrong, she'll correct you quickly and tell you, no, that's not the way it was, or that good stuff. So Sandra is the manager of the house. Believe it or not, folks, she actually will sleep here in this house by herself. I don't even like to walk in the building by myself, but I do occasionally. Those of you who saw the Facebook post about a month ago got a good kick out of that. Sitting next to Sandra is Alicia Keppel. Alicia is relatively new to the paranormal world. I think you got about 2 years experience with us, am I right?
Almost 2 years.
Yeah, 2 years experience with us. And Alicia, has been coming to the house now on and off for about 2 years. She's been here several times. Has a considerable amount of experience with the Whispers Estate. Every time I've investigated with her, we've had kind of off-the-hook responses from the house. Just last Sunday night, like I said, you wouldn't believe some of the things we experienced as a group of 4 people. It was pretty amazing. So really the goal of the entire podcast is just to let everyone who has an interest in the house, those of you who've been here before, to kind of, tune in, see what the current events that are going on with the house. And we are even going to, here in just about 20 minutes or so, open up the phone lines. The phone line. I only got one phone. I'm going to share the number with you, and those of you who wanting to can call in, and I'll probably have to hold your phone up to the microphone here so we can hear your question for either of our guests, okay? So that's the whole goal of the podcast, is to make the house accessible to people who've been here before, people who've never been here maybe, who want to visit the house. Our goal is, once again, just to make the house accessible. And once again, this is a multimedia technology now that, even though we've had some technical difficulties today, I promise we'll get this down, and probably by the next time we do this, there should be no issues with our equipment, if you will, okay? So I'm going to start with Sandra. As I said earlier, Sandra Burris here has been about 12 years experience with the house, and I kind of, this is my third podcast, the first live podcast, and basically I kind of ask the same 4 questions to all my guests, and I'll just ask Sandra, then Alicia's turn, and then we'll just keep going back and forth. But Sandra, with you right off the bat, can you share with everyone that's listening out there right now and watching, because there's a camera there, watching right now, could you share with us what got you involved with Paranormals? This is an early childhood experience. Where did you find interest in this bizarre field of paranormal research?
I can. I guess when I started with the paranormal, I was probably about 6 years old when all that began. I can't say that it didn't happen to me younger than that, but my first experience that I can remember is probably about 6 years old, and I was walking up long country lane, I guess, and I seen a flame, if that makes any sense, a flame come up out of the ground. And I just couldn't explain that for any reason, because there just wasn't nothing around. There wasn't no pipes. There wasn't no fire. There wasn't nothing to give off that flame to come up out of the ground. So I guess that was my first experience as some kind of activity as a kid. And then things just began to spiral from there. So that was about 6 years old when that started beginning.
Okay, going all the way back as a child at 6 years old, I can't even imagine. I was playing Hot Wheels and G.I. Joe and all this stuff.
Yeah.
Kind of dating myself for Hot Wheels. Most of the people know what those are probably. Alicia, I always ask basically 1 and 2, and since you're number 2, the same question for you. When did you first get involved with paranormal? Was it an early childhood experience, or was it just something as an adult that you just naturally gravitated towards? How did you get involved with this bizarre pastime, if you will?
So I'll get close to this microphone here. I'm not sure if it's working. Can you hear me?
We'll see. I think the people out there can hear you. That's all that matters.
All right, good. My first experience I ever really had, I was probably about 4, I would guess. And it's a very vague memory, but it's one that I've never been able to forget. I had been asleep, and I woke up. I had no memory of how I got there, but I wasn't fully awake. There was a rocking chair in the corner of my bedroom when I was about that age, and somehow I had been asleep in my bed. I'm half groggy awake in my rocking chair and looking straight ahead of me. In between where my bed sat and my closet door, there was a figure. And what I feel would normally scare a little kid, a 4-year-old child, I was very calm. I was half asleep and all that, but I was very calm looking at this thing, this entity, whatever this thing was. And I guess the only way I would know to describe it would be, it was very tall, and it almost looked like a life-size praying mantis of some sort. That's what I saw, and I still have the image in my head. I remember it. So I would say that was probably my very first experience. And I think, I'd always tried to convince myself that it was a dream. That's what my mom told me, it was a dream, you were dreaming, And I didn't really have much happen after that until I was probably around middle school age. In the house we lived in Brownstown, there was my little brother's bedroom, actually. He had kept telling me things were happening back there. And I was scared. We would be home in the evenings. My mom worked night shift. And I really didn't believe him, or I just tried to convince him that it was nothing, it was fine. He just watched a movie. But there was one night, my mom was at work, we had a bad thunderstorm, it knocked the power out of the house, and we had school the next day, so he was back in his bedroom and I was in mine, and he came to my room telling me something was in that bedroom. And by that time, I let him in my room. I put on a movie, and when the lights turned back on, I went down the hallway to investigate. And by the time I'd gotten down there and I looked into the room, lightning crashed and all the power went out again. It scared me. I went back to my room, and it had sounded like a short bit later something had cleared something off of his dressers, like just cleared it, but nothing had moved when we went back to look at it. There was nothing at all, so that was something that I couldn't explain. So those are two big things from my childhood that stand out. So.
Yeah, it's hard for me to even comprehend having those type of experiences as a young person, as a child, if you will. Nothing like that. I guess I was just very fortunate growing up where I didn't have anything that really scared me that was significant like that, other than watching Cemetery, which once again I'm dating myself there, folks. Cemetery Channel 4 every Friday and Saturday night, 11:30. I even know the intro. I could recite it to you perfectly. I got it down. But we'll go back to our guest here, Sandra. you know, I always ask this question for people that have been here from before on these podcasts. Can you share with us the first time you've heard about the Whispers Estate and how your first visit to the house? Can you go back that far? I know it's been about 12 years now.
Yeah, it was probably about 2009, I guess. 2009, 2010, right around there. That was probably the first time I had heard about Whispers Estate. I was with my paranormal group. We had decided to investigate Whispers Estate. The first time I came here, I got what appeared to be a little boy up in the seance room, in this big diamond-shaped mirror. He had you'd see his curly hair. His t-shirt had stripes. Perfect picture in this diamond-shaped mirror. So the second time that we had come back, our group decided it was early morning. The guy stayed down in the front parlor. Me and 3 other girls went back up, and another guy went with us. The guy that went with us went to the red room. Me and 3 other girls went to the seance room. And we were there probably about 5 minutes, and I guess I thought, well, I will try to recreate that picture in the diamond-shaped mirror again. And so the girls sat down on the lower landing, and I sat where I did before, and I was taking pictures in this mirror. And I could feel something coming up the steps behind me, and you couldn't see behind you because it's pitch black, but I could still feel this darkness, this entity coming up behind me. And I knew it was not a good presence. And I didn't want to turn around and look. So I just turned my camera around and took about 3 pictures, brought it down, and there wasn't nothing there. And we had a K2 meter sitting between us, and it started flashing all the way to red. I mean, just buried all the way to red. And I said we have spikes on our K2, and about that time, this girl, Mary, that was with us, she said, "Who's here with us?" And the best I can describe it, because it was like simultaneously, it was like boom, boom, boom. It was like this gust of wind, this loud growl, and then something right beside me let out this blood-curdling scream, like this banshee screaming. And I was nursing a broken foot at the time, and I jumped up. All of us girls, as you can imagine, we were all girls, so we all ran to the corner, and we were screaming for our lives. And this thing was screaming so loud, it was like almost ear piercing, if you will. And you couldn't see it, but you could almost gauge it, if that makes any sense. It was almost like a slow crawl towards you. Over probably about a 5-minute period, I guess, this thing was just like crawling towards you. And it was like the thing was going to eat you. And the guys downstairs heard like a loud thump. Well, they had thought somebody had fallen down the steps. By the time they had gotten all the way upstairs from the front parlor to the top attic and come around the corner, that thing was like up in our faces. Like literally right in our faces. We thought the thing was going to like literally eat us. But by the time they got around to the corner, it had like abruptly stopped at that point. It like shook our whole world at that point.
Okay, and I'm looking at your sister.
Do you want the board on? I can get it on right now.
I'm looking at your sister.
She looked extremely uncomfortable during that entire story. We have in our studio audience. We have a studio audience, folks. There's about 27 people.
You got to unmute it.
Most of them uninvited. Kim was invited. But most of them uninvited. I don't know who that dude is. Is he smoking meth back there? I'm not happy about that, buddy. I'm sharing. That's a joke, of course.
Sandra's sister Kim's here. She's extremely uncomfortable during that entire story. Kim has one of the best lines ever. My daughter Macy was here back during a birthday party we had for Sandra, and Glenn and myself, all three of us are born in March. I think we're all three Pisces, right? And we all went upstairs to have a little fun up in the house. And my daughter Macy sat there, and Kim, Sandra's sister, sat beside her. Macy says, "Why aren't you going?" And Kim said, "Well, because I saw something up there that I can't unsee." And
I heard something.
and of course, my daughter, Macy's probably watching right now. She's not the bravest person in the world when it comes to paranormal, but she's going to come around. Just give her a few years. I can assure you that. What a great story. Every time I hear that story, I just never get tired of hearing that story. And I'm guessing that is your oh shit moment, right?
That was my oh shit moment.
Yeah, pretty.
For this day,
Yeah, and we don't use profanity on this podcast. We try to keep it clean, but S-H-I-T, I mean, once again, I'm okay saying that. Alicia, how did you first hear, I believe, well, I don't want to preface this, so how did you first hear about the Whispers Estate? Do you mind sharing that with us?
Sure. So I found this house by accident. It's kind of funny. It was October around Halloween time in 2018. My husband and I had went to go to the Haunted Prairie at Spring Mill. Well, when we got there, the car in front of us, they let him go through, and they cut the end of the line right at our car. So I'm like, we drove all the way from Seymour for nothing, right? So we started Googling haunted houses, just, chainsaw, Michael Myers is what we were looking for.
Hey.
And this place came up.
We have no
near
audio.
us. So,
We have no audio. You muted.
Even on there?
Yep.
On the internet?
No. Yeah, I shut this off and turned your thing on. I told you you had to unmute.
It's all working. Everything.
You're muted.
No, we're not, buddy. We're on, partner.
All right, this.
Yeah, we're on. Yeah,
We're on?
Are we?
We can hear the mics on.
Okay.
Shut that off. People won't be hearing Alicia's
Can you
story.
hear us?
Are you here? Okay.
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 So we're getting through this, folks. Brad's doing the best he can. Okay.
Well, should
So
be.
this place came up when we Googled it, and I remember we pulled up outside, and it didn't look like a haunted house, right? It was very quiet, no chainsaws going, no big crowd of people, and you guys had the banner up out front then. And so we parked out front, we got out, we walked around back, and there was just a small group of people out there. And we stood there for a while. I'm like, maybe it's one that you go inside and you walk through, We stood there for quite some time. And finally I asked a lady out there, a little bit about this place and what it was. And she said, well, you have to book a tour. I'm like, that's strange. So we stood there for a minute and we were looking more into this place while we were standing there. And I just kind of got this feeling. I'm like, I don't think this is what we thought it was. So we left, and I'd spent the whole next day kind of looking into this house, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, there's some stuff that's happened in this house. So did not come back here until 2020, and I don't know. Out. What'd you guys do? Well, we didn't leave the room.
So it was just you and Brandon?
Yeah, it was just
Okay.
us two, and we had never investigated anywhere before, so that was my very first experience with this house. Nothing crazy happened. We heard some noises. We sat in here in the dark. We heard stuff. I'm a feeler. I feel things very much. So just the way I felt in this house, I knew immediately there was a lot going on here, So that was my very first time. So we rebooked the following week actually and came back, had a better time. So.
Yeah, that's a great story. And Sandra did the first tour because I think Sandra shared with me later that this girl and her husband came and they didn't leave the first floor. So I think I got that. And then I was obviously later able to meet both of you. And your husband's a great guy and he pretty good sport. I think he's gotten a lot better at this, right? Yeah. So since Sandra's kind of already shared her moment, it doesn't even have to be at the Whispers Estate, but do you have a moment as a paranormal investigator that you're like, wow, this was just the moment for me?
Well, I don't feel like I've had anything that really like what Sandra had. I feel like that's kind of traumatic. To go through something like that would have been terrifying. I haven't had a moment like that or anything that. I mean, I've felt scared and on edge many times in this house and in other places too. But the experience from this house that stands out, that was very unexpected. I can't explain it. Sandra was there. She knows it happened. She felt it happen. Sandra and I were investigating up on the second floor, and then we moved up to the attic. We were in the red room, and I felt like something was rocking me. Something was taking a hold of my body and rocking me. And we were sitting on the edge of the red room, and I said, Sandra, I'm not making this up. I'm not lying. You have to believe me. I'm not moving my body. Something is shaking me, and it's making me shake the bed. And about the time she had put her hand on my back, something bounced me on the bed. And I know that sounds bizarre, and there's a million ways I did it myself that you can try to rationalize something like that in your mind, but something about the time it was almost immediately to when she put her hand on my back to feel that this isn't me flexing or moving my body or anything, something bounced me. Like I came slightly up off the bed, and I feel like I should have been extremely freaked out and terrified in that moment, but I think that was one of the coolest things, probably the coolest things that has happened to me.
Yeah, and I remember that story. It's been probably about a year ago, I'm guessing, something like that. And, we've had so many guests that had those similar experiences up in the red room on that bed. Gwen has one of the most, what I'd say, powerful stories to tell, how it felt like something was just sucking her down into it, whatever it was, or her story is really a powerful one. But that is just one of those things that, when it occurs, lots of times when things happen, whether it's at the Whispers Estate, wherever I'm at, if something really kind of profound happens, often I don't even talk about it to people because the average person just isn't really going to believe you. So you're just kind of wasting your time trying to convince them it's real. All we suggest, that if you have an interest in this, even if you're a heavy duty skeptic, which I think everybody in this room is pretty skeptical about a lot of stuff. We always try to debunk stuff first. We always try to prove that there's natural occurrences that cause the phenomena. But at the end of the day, there's so many things that happen. You just can't prove it's anything other than some type of paranormal experience. And when people tell me stories about the red room, it just never really surprises me. I'm pretty much prepared for about any kind of story that comes out of there. I really only got one more question for both of you, and we're going to open up the phone lines. Sandra, you've been doing this for, I'm guessing, around 2 decades now, close to 20 years. You're the resident experienced person here. Can you share with us some of the other places you visited? I'm sure there's a whole litany of places, but places that maybe just stick out of all the other places you've been to do any type of investigations.
Yes, the Monroe House sticks out in my head. A very great place to investigate. Top-notch
Excuse me.
place to investigate. The Rectory, which is not there no more, I hate to say. Randolph County Asylum, great place to investigate. The jail up there by Randolph County, the same guy owns the jail, is a great place. There's so many places I've been to. Mansfield, Ohio, been there, great place. Gosh, actually been to so many different places.
And I know you have kind of yourself kind of planned a huge investigation in September that you invited me and Alicia, I believe, several of us. Can you tell everybody that's listening right now where we all going to go? September 9th, is that when it is?
September the 15th.
Okay, I was close.
Yes. Indiana State Sanatorium. Indiana State Sanatorium.
Okay, and that is, can you tell everybody where that is for people who aren't really familiar with those type of places? Do you remember where that's at?
That is over in. Yeah, I'm trying to think of what town that is in. Rockville,
Indiana.
Rockville, Indiana.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's where, and that where our good friend, and I think Lisa's listening to that, Lisa Potts went, and her and her son had a pretty amazing experience there.
Off the charts experience.
Yeah, he in general said that this was just one of the best places they've ever been. So,
A lot of people have had great experience.
yeah. So, I mean, here at Whispers, we aren't about just promoting our own place here. We want to encourage people to visit as many places as you can go, as you can afford to go, because it gets very expensive. If there's a place that, you've read about, by all means, plan a group, get a group to go together and go to that and investigate it. Because, once again, I was just at the Conjuring House back in March, and Kim Kinser and I, you just never know where you're going to go. It's going to be really quiet. We can't guarantee paranormal activity if you come to this house. We think it's pretty good possibility to experience something. Often people come to Whispers Estate and they'll write in our little log book that, it's kind of a quiet night, but people who do this and do it regularly understand that, ghosts in general aren't really performers. It's not like going to a circus where the clowns and the elephants and all the things do their tricks. It's, sometimes it's just really hit and miss. Sometimes you'll sit in a place that's a well-known haunted attraction for hours and not even hear a knock. And that's just the nature of it. But the more of these places you visit, I can assure you that the likelihood of you experiencing something like Sandra and Alicia both shared increased dramatically, that's for sure. Now, Alicia, we're kind of picking on you because you've only been doing this for about a couple years, but are there a handful of places besides the Whispers Estates you've been to so far?
Yeah, the Monroe House. The Monroe House. That was a great experience. The Stone Mansion. That was another good one. Benton Farms.
Down in Kentucky? I love the Benton Farm,
Farms.
yeah.
That was great. And they have the little farm. So in
Yeah.
the morning, all the goats were there. That,
Yeah.
that was so precious. That was my favorite part.
I got
Oh
two
my gosh.
animal lovers here. Let me tell you, folks. They like animals a lot more than they do people, that's for sure.
Yes, for sure. Where else have we been to? I've been to Tunnelton. It's not really a house or a place, but
Right.
I have been down to Tunnelton and investigated that. I've been to some places in Salem, Massachusetts. I love it. We go every year. My husband and I go to Salem, Massachusetts every year. The Ropes Mansion, the Witch House. We're actually staying at the Hawthorne Hotel this year. We're getting ready to go back in July. That is rumored to be haunted. We're looking forward to that. And the Salem Inn, the second part to the actual Salem Inn there. We're staying there a night as well. So
Right. For those of you who haven't been to Salem, Massachusetts, a good friend of mine, Kim Kinser, I do a lot of investigating with. We were there back in March, same time at the Conjuring House, and we spent a whole day at Salem, and the Hawthorne is right downtown, and you just see that place and go, well, if there is a haunted hotel anywhere in the United States, this is probably it. And everybody you talk to in Salem goes, well, if you want to find ghosts, this is where they are. So that's on my bucket list of a place to visit and probably spend the night. Although I don't think they let you walk around with your equipment. You just got to, rent a room out for the night and just hope and pray that you have something happening, I guess, there. But once again, just one of those neat places in Salem. As a matter of fact, you got your broom at Salem, right?
yes,
So
I did my purple broom.
when I visited Salem, I had to buy me a broom, and it's here on this wall here in our dining room area up there. My Salem
I
broom
love it.
just
If it goes missing, I don't know.
Salem is just what a great place to visit for those of you people who love the history. As a historian, I just love the history of the house in general. So, folks, once again, we get to that part of the show or the podcast. Not really a show, although I think we put on quite a performance tonight, haven't we? With all the mishaps, and Brad here's over here sweating. I wish there was a crowd of people here to give him a round of applause. Brad is just an amazing guy, and he builds REM pods. If you need a REM pod, he sells them for $100 or about $200 everywhere else. So, folks, if you want a REM pod, this is the place to go get one. But I promised people, I had about 90 people text me over the last couple of days, are you going to do the call in with the live thing, and I promised that we were. So we have never done this, folks. So once again, we're working out the kinks. Brad and I are both kind of tech people. I set up sound shows for bands. Brad can take apart something, put it back together. Just give us a few weeks. We're going to get this mastered where we probably won't have that problem. But I do have a number you can call in. Those of you wanting to call in, I just got a couple of rules about call-ins. Number one, please do not use any profanity. I just don't want anyone coming in and I know there are probably young people listening to this and I blush when I hear the F-bomb. I don't know. I don't use that word myself at all. So, why are you two laughing at that? But that's okay. Boy, Kim just about fell out of her chair.
Just to hang out with us. Like,
That's
how
our second language. Try not to.
For the callers, please don't use any profanity. Please show respect to the two young ladies here that are, giving their time. Alicia drove all the way from Columbus now.
close to Columbus, yeah.
Yeah, she's turned into a Columbus girl. My hometown, Columbus, Indiana, and she's driven a long way just to get here. I think mainly just to be here and help me out. I'd kind of asked her last Sunday, and she said, well, probably not, but then she found out she could work it out with work. So any questions you might have for these people or myself, we would just ask that you showed a certain amount of respect for the process and ask your question respectfully, of course. And then other than that, really the sky's the limit. Don't ask us about personal things. I've been married and divorced 4 times. I'm about ready to ask a woman to marry me a 5th time. I think 5 times the charm. What do you think, Sandra? Okay. So,
I think it's
So nothing personal really, but anything about paranormal investigations or anything about the Whispers Estate, once again, I will probably often just basically consent ourselves to Sandra because no one knows more about the house than she does. But the actual number itself, and I can tell you how old I am, I have to write it down in big numbers to see it. So if you want to call in and talk to us, the area code is 765-343-9131. Once again, 765-343-9131. And we only have one phone hooked up. We're going to work on that. So if you get a busy signal, just please call back, and we're going to take as many calls as, the next 15 minutes or so we're allowed. We don't want to go much over about 45 minutes here at this podcast. So once again, if you want to call in, that's 765-343-9131. We'd welcome anyone that wants to call and ask us a question. I'm thinking right now for our next podcast, we're hoping to do one in about 2 weeks. Brad and I are going to put our collective minds together and work out all the little quirks. And once again, it's all my fault. Brad told me to leave that computer plugged in. It's been unplugged for a year, so I'm taking complete responsibility for it. Brad, did you finally get us hooked up to the road here? Okay, that's awesome. So I think Brad, now that with his mind, he would never let go of that knowledge on how to do that. But I think our next plan right now as we speak is to probably have another podcast here in about 2.5 weeks. We always post it on our whispersestate.com website. I had several thousand people respond with likes and hearts and stuff like that. So hopefully we got that many people listening tonight. But my next guest right now, and we haven't confirmed this with Brad's wife, Michelle, but my next guest will be my good buddy, Brad Martin, and his wife, Michelle Martin, the two people who are dear to me, good friends of mine. And I think I think Michelle will do it. She told me she would do it. So I'm going to probably spring that on her for a little bit of a lack of warning there, but we'll probably have them here in about 2 weeks. And I think we're going to move upstairs. Michelle's had so many interesting experiences at the Whispers Estate, particularly in Jesse's room, that we'll probably do the next podcast up in Jesse's room, set the camera up there, and we'll just see what happens there. Okay. So I think that's where we are. Kim, now that you saw this was relatively painless, are we going to be able to get you to...
I still don't know about that. We'll see.
So anyone wanting to call right now, folks, we'd welcome your calls. I'm not going to wait too long. I had about 70 or 80 people, I think, text me today saying we're going to call you. But if no one does call, we're going to end this podcast here pretty quickly. Once again, the number, I'll say it one more time, 765-343-9131 for whoever wants to go first. Stacy, you're telling me you couldn't wait to call in and ask Sandra a question, so we're kind of waiting on Stacy. I hope she didn't clock out here. And for those of you interested in visiting the Whispers Estate, once again, the best thing to do is visit our website at www.whispersestate.com. Brad, once again, I don't know how I would do anything without Brad. He kind of does everything for me. You click at the top of the page if you're on your computer, and it says reservations up there. It will take you to our Eventbrite page, and it will take you to our calendar of availability. And once again, if you see a date there that makes sense to you, you just simply click on that date. If it's open, and all you have to do is enter your personal information, and it will confirm your visit, and it will give you an email. And does it give you a ticket as well? How does it do that, Brad? Okay, so you'll get that email confirmation there, and you'll be good to go. But guys, I tell you, I don't know if my phone, I hope something has happened to my phone. And okay, well, people tuned out. That's kind of disappointing. Well, we'll get it together. So, folks, since it doesn't appear anyone is going to call in, I'm going to go ahead and end this. Hey, if I play the music, will we be able to hear Michelle? Because she worked pretty hard on this, folks. So, folks, thank those of you who turned in tonight. Thanks a lot. And we're going to end up with our outro music, our intro and our outro music. And you get to hear Michelle Martin tell you thank you for listening to the Whispers Estate podcast.
Thank you for tuning in. We hope you've enjoyed tonight's adventure. For more information, please visit our website at www.whispersestate.com.